Hi guys, welcome back to another video by myself, Stisko. Today we're going to talk about one main man and one main team. Someone that has not only been an incredible servant to the sport of cricket, but to England as well. That name being Stuart Broad. He's half of the double dream team, which includes James Anderson, and is someone who sits second on England's test match leading wicket taking tally. With a total of 485 wickets and an average of 28.5, he sits only behind, you guessed it, James Anderson. So with these ridiculous numbers, is Stuart Broad still in his prime? And did he deserve to get dropped for the test match against the West Indies? The short answer, in my opinion, is no, he shouldn't have been dropped. But for now, here's all the facts and details on why I believe he should never have been dropped. So, in case you've been living under a rock in terms of cricket news for the last couple of days, here's a quick recap of the events that have unfolded. Cricket has returned with England facing the West Indies at the Rose Bowl in Southampton, with Ben Stokes leading England for the first time as captain. With England having the ability to select from all of its medium to quick bowlers, this has meant that the great Stuart Broad has been dropped from the team, not only from the starting 11, but also the 13-man squad as potential cover. So, as you might gather, or I've seen online the last couple of days, this has caused some significant fallout around the selection, with mainly Stuart Broad appearing on Sky Sports Cricket to give his opinions and emotions. First, it is important to note before I jump into everything, I'm recording this video during the current West Indies and England game. Therefore, I'm not going to take into consideration any of the results or the figures or anything like that into my opinion. This opinion is based solely before the game was played. So I'm not going to take into consideration the fact that Mark Wood has got one wicket and he was the number 10 batsman in the first innings. That doesn't matter in this case. All about the figures, the facts before this game has started. So let's just begin with some facts about the bowlers in contention for selection and their career numbers so far. James Anderson, England's all-time wicket taker with an average of 26.8 at the time of recording, and is a player with 17 years experience at the top level of test matches. He's now 37 years old, but when fit and rotated properly, he fits into the squad without a shadow of a doubt, and is, in my opinion, England's greatest ever bowler. Now, what I've just described about James Anderson is pretty much what can be said about Stuart Broad, but yet he still didn't get picked. But why? Well, I'll get into that in a bit. Next, we have Jofra Archer, a talented young bowler that on his day can rip through any batting lineup in the world. With his lethal pace, he broke onto the scene last year in the Ashes series in England. He's also the second bowler to make the squad, and is a player with only 7 test matches with a bowling average of 27.4, and yet has picked up 30 wickets in his time. The third choice bowler that was picked was Mark Wood, a quick bowler who likes to bang it into the pitch and averages 31.41 and has picked up 48 wickets across his 15 tests so far. Now, just before I go any further, a disclaimer, I'm not including Ben Stokes into the quick bowler debate because it seems a bit pointless considering he was already picked and he's an all-rounder. With those selected in mind though, let's look at who missed out. Obviously we have Stuart Broad, but looking past him we have Chris Woakes, a medium quick bowler who has an average of 30.88 and has taken 95 wickets in his 32 tests for England. The final player to not make the squad was Sam Curran, another young and up-and-coming bowler who has 17 tests under his belt at an average of 31.7 and has taken 37 wickets so far. Now, after taking a brief look at those averages, you can come to the conclusion that Curran and Wood have the worst average, with Chris Woakes being somewhere in between, and then you have the three of Broad, Anderson and Archer, who seem to be the most prolific. However, some may argue career averages mean nothing. It is all solely based on form. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at England's last 3 test series. The first being the Ashes on home soil. Now, they drew this 2-2. Australia still retained the Ashes because they had won at the previous series. However, Broad played all 5 matches in the series, taking 23 wickets in total, the second most out of both teams, with an average of 26.65, all while having David Warner on toast pretty much every innings. Next, Jofra Archer. He played 4 matches, taking 22 wickets at an average of 20.27, a very, very impressive breakout series. Next, Chris Woakes played 4 matches, took 10 wickets with an average of 33.12, while James Anderson played 1 innings, taking no wickets, bowling just 4 overs due to injury. Sam Curran, you might ask? Well, he played just the 1 match, taking 3 wickets and an average of 22.66, all while Mark Wood didn't play a single match. So, a quick summary of the Ashes. Those bowlers who did play and were fit, both Broad and Archer were the standouts. The next series to look at was the England Tour of New Zealand at the end of last year, with 2 matches being played. Overall, England struggled as a bowling unit. Curran played both matches, taking 6 wickets at an average of 39.66. Woakes, he just played the one match, taking 4 wickets at an average of 23.75, the real standout English bowler. And Broad, well, he took 4 wickets at 41.25. Both Wood and Anderson did not play, while Archer struggled massively, taking just 2 wickets in 2 matches at an average of 104.5. So, with this in mind, you would look at the series and say Woakes was the pick of the bunch, while Curran and Broad were on a similar level, and Archer struggled very, very badly. With Archer struggling badly, England moved over to South Africa, where they played them in South Africa. They won that series, but here Broad took 14 wickets, the second best of the series of all players, at an average of 19.42. Mark Wood, he returned to take an impressive 12 wickets at an average of 13.58 in 2 matches, while Curran, he took 10 wickets in 4 games at an average of 32.6. James Anderson also returned and took 9 wickets at an average of 19.88, so pretty respectable. Archer played just the once, taking 6 wickets at a match average of 27.83, and Woakes, well, he just played the once, taking 3 wickets at an average of 28.33. So, as you can see from the series, that Broad was probably the best bowler, as he had an impressive wicket tally across the 4 matches. It could also be mentioned that Wood could be considered to be one of the best with an average of 13.58. However, due to only playing 2 matches, that doesn't necessarily give a full picture of the entire series. So with that being in mind, I still think Broad was the best bowler in the most recent English series. So, after looking at the past 3 test series, it is clear to see that Stuart Broad has consistently been the best quick bowler for England, and is also why in the Test Championship he sits 3rd, only behind the quick bowler Pat Cummins and the spinner Nathan Lyon. So with him being easily England's best Test bowler over the last year, if not 2 years, over a variety of different pitches, why has he been dropped for the West Indies first Test? Well, according to Broad's interview to Sky Sport, he got told England wanted extra pace due to the so-called nature of the Southampton pitch, something which Broad doesn't offer. It is also important to consider that England are also now opting for a policy of rotating Anderson and Broad as they do get older. The final option also to consider is the warm-up game in Southampton, which England had the warm-up games between Team Butler and Team Stokes. Broad may have taken 0 wickets in this match, which may have contributed to his selection decision. However, in the same light, it's kind of irrelevant, because out of all the quick bowlers in selection, the most took 2 wickets, so it's pretty much irrelevant. So, with that in mind, you might be thinking, well, a lack of pace and wanting to rotate Anderson and Broad, it makes sense. However, here's my opinion. With so much time being away from cricket due to COVID-19, Broad and Anderson should be feeling the best they've ever felt in a while. They should be fresh as a daisy. Therefore, I say play them both, as still I think they're the best combination and bowlers that England have. Also, the last time Broad played at the Rose Bowl in Southampton, before the warm-up game, he got more wickets than any of the other English quick bowlers with 4. And with his form over the last year, there is no doubt in my mind he should have started and helped lead the England bowling attack. So, with that come to the conclusion that Broad should have been starting that match based on previous form and his reputation, does it also beg the question, is he still in his prime? In my opinion, the last few years he's reinvented himself and he's been back to his best, in which you could argue he might be even better than his younger self, if not just as good. So, with everything being considered, apart from the actual first test between the West Indies and England, which has proven that Broad probably should have played because Wood does only have 1 wicket in the first innings when I'm recording this, Stuart Broad has been harshly done by and has every right to feel disappointed, angry, and upset at the selectors, as ultimately he couldn't have done any more over the last year to prove that he is England's best Test bowler, as well as also having the reputation of being England's second ever greatest, giving him automatic points over the likes of Wood and Curran. Therefore, I would have gone with the selection of Archer, James Anderson, Stuart Broad. I think they complement each other very well. I think we also need to see Archer back on an English pitch. He struggled overseas, but on English soil, we need to see him given another chance because I think he could do bits. Ultimately though, that's where I'm going to leave this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like and subscribe down below. I've also just got my Twitter going, so I'll leave a link to that also. Please also let me know your opinions on whether Broad should have played or it's correct decision that he was dropped, and what this also might mean for Broad's future going forward with English cricket. But for now, that's all my opinion on the matter, and I'll see you guys next time.